Ta-da! There. Thanks for joining us. All right, I got everything up. I should be good. Let me change this right away so I can bring in text if someone chats with us. And I'm going to try to do 4 today. And I'm doing... I love this model. It was this photo. And we'll go through them on Twitter real quick. I want to go through some of the people that sent pictures in because there's a lot of really good ones. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. What else? This one was cool. There was a tough call between 2 of these photos, but I really dug this one. I thought, I was like, I can do a good job on it and pull it off relatively quick. I had to do
different angles that you like as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that one had it had a couple different angles. This one, I need to practice the buildings in the 40K world. I don't do enough of them, so I'm kind of like janky with it. So I wanted to do what I did is this is the same person, which I'm horrible because they joined my Patreon, and I'll look here in a second, but we'll go over them again. It's the same one as this one. I started cropping it, and I could do it cool. I could not get, like, to crop it right, it would have to be longer to the sides. And I was like, well, I don't really, like, on a free one, I think I would be spending too much time painting the background to get it to work. So I was originally going to do this one, but then chose this one instead because compositionally it'll work better. And then this one, look at this. I love this thing. I don't know. I asked them what it was and they replied, but I love this model and what they did with it. So I'm going to try to get this one.
And it's sort of very anime.
Yeah, it does. And I really dig. I took the lights on the eyes, but how he just did the eyes, it's a cool style that's going on. It's like painterly, but like not overdone. So it's like it's still got like the comic book feel. I really like it.
It's very crisp. It's almost like he's like a display model for like the latest kit that's coming out. So I think it is really well done and very crisp.
That's what I mean. It's got a cool style because it's like I look at the skeletons and they look very like painter. Like I don't know what I can't place my finger on it, but I just know I really liked it. I was like, man, the way it was handling light or something on this, and I just saw it as like a comic book or something right in my mind. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, this is like perfect.
All right, proper Hellboy.
Oh, let me click on this. Got an excellent connection. That is good. I will pull up Twitter. What I'm going to do is go over a few of these. So I open up the thread, and of course I put my coffee link wrong. I put ko.fi, and it was supposed to be ko hyphen. So Harry Sherwin sent in some orcs and some skeletons. I like when it seems hard to me, but I like when they try the different colored skins on the orcs. You know what I mean? I always I enjoy kind of see it and trying to like pull them off. Because even I always gravitate towards green. And I like to see some attempts.
Well, blue in orc culture is lucky.
Yeah.
So
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's why I like the whole thing about blue is lucky. Red means they go faster.
Fast, yeah, I knew that one.
I can't remember what yellow means.
Oh,
but that's why we only have those sort of colours on their vehicles.
Yeah. I should tweet out that I'm live. One quickie.
I did put a tweet out, but I did say in 5 minutes, and then you said, "Right, we're going."
That's our scheduling. Yeah, that's how we roll. And Apothecary, he submitted this one last week, and I'm going to end up doing it at some point just because it's the miniature. I don't even know if I've ever seen the miniature, and I don't know what did he add the backpack piece or not.
Well, it looks. I would have said it was like an iron hand. I can't see any signature because of obviously the tone and the metallic on there, but it's definitely some sort of like, tech marine in a way with the Volkite, double blood Volkites there. So he might have actually done that for Heresy. I don't know.
Yeah, I love the. So first of all, it's got the camera angle, and then the shadow underneath his arms, and the shadow kind of underneath the cape. It really makes for a bold because it pushes that leg forward, and the position of his mouth, like just his head, it very much look. It's a great photo. This one, Caprice, the gold. Oh, I was so tempted because I'm like, gold. If you give me gold and I can shine it and put light in the dark, like it's this glowing thing. So I was really tempted by this thing. I wanted to
And you can do your old golden member impression as well. Get out the locker.
It looks like it's done with I don't know if it's be Nuln oil. I mean, obviously not all done, but I mean over.
Either like Reichland flesh or Seraphim tone, because when you use those ones, it gives it more of an orangey, goldy look.
Gotcha.
Because like with Nuln oil, it would take it in a different direction totally.
Okay.
So I normally use Agrax myself, but if you're looking for that,
right, you told me
that sort of tone, you would go either Reichland flesh shade or, as I said, Seraphim sepia, unless you're using a contrast over it as a wash. So maybe Guilliman flesh.
I've seen some really good stuff done with that contrast too. Gamesmail and Discord has been doing it. Griffo says, don't really have anything new to share this time, but I'll try to be on stream. Griffo, appreciate if you can make it. Thanks for this one. I saw, and it's probably almost like too big for me to try, but it like looked like a poster painting right there. So I like that one's why it made it on the thing. I'm like, oh, I want to just whatever, get the smoke and the haze, and there'd be like sparks flying from this thing. I mean, look at all the bots, not the bots, but the like servitors and
arming chamber.
Yeah. And I was like, I didn't fully get what's going on, but I'm like, all right, this is really cool. So I'm going to try to do something with that. What else we got? Vampire Lord. And this one was interesting because usually this is one of those that escapes my rules. Like usually I would say, don't do a straight on shot or whatever. This actually works, and I think it's like a combo of the angle of the sword and kind of the action with the cape. It's a kind of like a classic. I don't know, like you would see it in like the D&D type books where they drew a character. You know what I mean? This would be like the pose and the thing. So I actually think even though it's straight on, it works. Oh, this one was later and it's big, but they did a great job on laying out a full team of this. And there's some of these I might have to go back because I could still isolate it somewhat easy. They have a great act, like they posed everyone really well in this. You got like the good composition, the gun barrels are like visible and all that, the different levels on the units behind. This is really good, like super well painted. It gives me a lot of like they pushed the color contrast so it made it, I don't want to say cartoony, but bold. And so I would really try to match this one. Gosh, I always end up wanting to try so many things. So thanks, Crazy Doug, on that one. God, that's cool. It's even got the gold. You can put a little bit of gold, get a lot of different colors in here. The blue lens, I like the blue lens on that thing.
Death Watch kill team.
Yeah. Make a great little poster or whatever. I love these shoulder pads.
That's what we did with those Blood Angels for Blood Angel Commander.
Yeah. I keep trying. There's going to come a point where I, like some of those, I'm starting to think, I'm like, okay, I did that ring formation almost like this, but stack it in tiers. You know how those famous like pictures they have a whole like body of, pile of bodies and they all be fighting, like stack it in tiers in that circle.
I was just remembering back to Ben Bailey's pile of bodies with the chaplain on top.
Yeah, it was his own chapter. That's what made it the best. It's like, dump them here, guys. I got this. He's like standing out. I'm gonna fix these guys. It's like
you rest.
Yeah,
I'll win the war.
Yeah, the world's best apothecary. Just pile them up here. I got this. Jen always had some cool. Cool color combinations that Jen chooses all the time. I wish the angle on this was a little different. Right, the squigs, I love the squig models simply because they're always in. There's such great movement. You know what I mean? So you can take a simple one and you could just like have it springing or bouncing and put like good action into them. Flohan, I never tire of the. This isn't an. It isn't. Wait, that's a crux or a whatchamacallit, Crozarius Arcanum, isn't it, or whatever?
Um,
Or no?
blah, blah, blah. Sorry, mind because I was thinking of a Crux Terminus, which is something
Yeah,
completely.
for the Terminators, but this is a. I forget how you say it. Oh,
It's a Crozius.
okay.
So basically, it's a power maul
Mm-hmm.
base, with sort of a religious sort of significance.
What are they called? It's not a chaplain. They don't do. Is it? What
Yeah,
is the? Okay,
he's a,
why was I forgetting the name? I always
well,
remember chaplain.
the chaplains have various different titles. So you like Master of Sanctity is like one of the sort of top ones. I think a Rosarius springs to mind. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while since I haven't really looked at the Space Marine Codex for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
They've all changed again. And Meg
Yeah,
with a squig.
I know. In this one, I would probably. This one may get done only because I could do something really fast, and it is a good. It's like a.
Fuses.
It's like a classic, almost like the Garbage Pail Kids picture. Like I could see this one springing with the big explosions in the background and stuff. It's a fun picture. Oh, this one was cool. I don't think I know too much. I don't interact with this person much. I saw us. This thing is wicked. Good use of. I like how they use the kind of, I don't know, like muted brownish yellows, but then they real nice pops of color in there, so it like stands out. I think that really works.
It's like Undead Chariot.
Yeah,
Sort of like bone hues and decayed flesh.
I know like some people are not into the game, or they want the older version or whatever, but there's something about these designs have been some of the best coming out, in my opinion, from GW for Age of Sigmar. I thought they did some really good. That's one of
Mm.
the things that I don't know what it was, maybe 2 years ago or a little longer than that. I started seeing the Oryx when they relaunched them for Age of Sigmar, and I was really like digging them. Oh, this thing, Jerkomatic set in. Oh, he gets me with the action. Look at that. It's like a John Woo movie.
It's all about
Nice.
the wood.
Yeah. And I might choose that one. And I told him, like, I literally just saw this before the show, but I'm like, this thing is perfect for a cool, like, it's got good lighting on it. It's got room for the barrel flashes because I could put a flash. It would be above his head on the one and the other one. Plus,
Looking at it just reminded me of Simon Pegg in Hot Fuzz.
yeah,
It is the copper going through, doing the two
yeah.
gunshot, true grit style.
Did you did you ever see a movie called Hard Boiled? It's a I don't
I
know.
had, I saw it when it sort of.
Korea. I don't.
I know it was
John Woo directed
John.
it, and it has Chow Yun Fat
Hmm.
and whatever else, and it's like a real famous. Like I loved it. I haven't seen it in, I don't even know, 15 years, but I always remember the shootout. They had it. I don't know where it was, but it had like all the birds and the ticker tape and all that stuff, and it's like all flying and bird cages getting shot up. It was just a crazy shoot 'em up.
I think Hard Boiled was like in the 90s that came out.
Yeah, like early '90s, I think.
Hmm. Well, I'm just going to check that up now.
Yeah, do it. Black Wolf's in this one. Oh, that's a cool one. And it's
Quite
not my. I think I like the other style orcs better, but I could definitely see how people like. I'm glad they did this style, especially if they keep them like like you have them both. You know what I mean? I think the option makes it really cool because you could mix your orcs together.
hmm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. I know. For like a nice clean. I think this is another one that holds up on a straight on shot because of the angle of her spear. So I think that one, and you have that thing that she's stepping over. So I think that one actually really does well on a simple composition like that. You could frame it where she's like walking through some like long hallway with some light coming in. Darren submitted some good stuff. And it was Darren Douglas. Thank you very much for joining the Patreon, and you even tipped me in coffee, so I thank you very much. I went to choose this one. I would have to do too much in the background to make it on the free show, but I love this one. A lot of crazy details in there. I never saw a hand like that. I don't even know what's going on, but I dig it.
He's got the funk.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the only thing I like about Nurgle. You could always just go crazy.
More Nurglies.
Yeah, I love the color schemes. What is this one? He also submitted this one. He joined Patreon, so it might end up at some point getting done. That's like to try to capture that good punch, you know what I mean? And I could blur the ground so it really gives it that shatter effect. So this one might end up getting tried sometime because I think it's wonderful.
As the superhero landing, it's the ghost kill battle suit.
Yeah, and it looks perfect in this.
And the hard boiled was 1992.
All right. We even got movie facts coming at you. Thanks for joining us all. Appreciate it. I never played any of the Tau. Tau was after. Look at this thing.
Oh, the Tauna with the railgun.
What is this? A huge like a Forge World thing?
Yeah, I've got one, but not with that weapon system. It comes with you get a free optional weapon system. So this is the railgun, so it's like the heavy railgun, which will put a single shot through whatever in front of it.
If this is that big, yeah, that'll shoot through whatever. I love that.
Plus the rockets on the other side there.
I love those. That has that classic cartoon BattleTech, Robotech, or actually Robotech.
But it gets better. You've got the next one up, which is the one that I've got, which has the Naxos Meteor missile system. Okay. So basically, two huge rocket launchers, like with 4 rockets in each on their shoulders. I just like the look of it, so that's why I got that one. And then the final one is basically proper anime, 3 massive cannons on its back. So it's like it is like a walking battleship. It just goes boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It marches along. They're really, really, they've got loads of weapons on there, as you can see. You've got smart missiles.
That's ridiculous. I saw right here all those.
Yeah, so they're sort of like close defense systems.
Wow.
So you've got lots of shots coming from the Gatling blasters. The missile pods I don't know in 9th edition, but in older editions, they were sort of like smart missile systems. So they could just fire and hit anything without having line of sight in the game. You've got the tri-axis ion cannons on their arms. So that's 2 of them, and they have 2 different fire settings.
This thing is like an ultimate gun platform.
It is formidable, to say the least. Not great in last time I played it was against a friend, and he was using Custodes on it, and a 2-man Custode team almost took it out. He brought it down to like its last wound.
Oh, interesting.
In combat, it was just like, but just so nasty.
Yeah, good to know. There's another. These I always like the Night Haunts. This one I might have tried. I would have to clean up the background a little bit more than I would like to, but I always just because you can do that ghostly, ethereal, wispy stuff in the dark and make it glow really nice. I always like those. Good job, Christine Hook and Pin Web. Oh, and then here's one I didn't see till later that probably would have made the cut because it's awesome.
Oh, somebody else saw that one.
And that shield would be glowing, wouldn't it? Like, is that like an energy shield?
Yeah, he's got the shock lance on the other side, so you could have some sort of like electrical glow on
Yeah.
the tip, sort of thing. And then that shield, yeah, most people will do some sort of like glowing, ambience of like electricity
Yeah.
hitting over
Okay.
it.
Oh God. So that one is another one where I might tell this person to resupply. I love the lifted leg. Really adds to it. It gets it nice and close. And even though it's like kind of dead on with the leg, that's fine because the body's tilted on an angle, and then it has the nice shadow underneath that carapace on top, and then the head pops out. So it's like that you can play with that.
Mm.
Good
Yeah,
lighting too. It has the lighting on the front. It's just the shadow going. So that's a excellent picture. Thanks for submitting it. And this thing, at first I almost thought it was like a graphic render. This was another one where I'm like, oh, like in these I can get away with a flying background kind of quick relatively on the flyer, so I was so tempted. I was like, you're doing 4 already.
yeah, that's the Cestus assault ram. So basically, this is for boarding actions.
Oh, see, that's like the coolest thing ever. It reminds me of the Corvus Assault Fist, where like the
Mm.
Titans used to like punch in and then the squad would run out.
Yeah, so this thing like rams into ships deliberately to
Yeah.
because at the front is the two ramps that come down, and troops are in these bays.
Oh.
So it's a fast delivery system. So it's a bit more sort of maneuverable than like drop pods, but then you can't really use drop pods in space. So
Yeah. You gotta
Cestus,
ram them.
so it just goes bashing into things and depositing the troops for boarding actions.
I love everything. I love the paint scheme on this. I love the little like detailing. I love the choices of where to put the gold. Or this thing is just so
Yeah, blood
great.
angels, nice stuff. Or
Yeah,
nice look.
great camera angle too because it gets that forced perspective kind of feel. God, that's awesome.
Mm.
This is the one I chose. I was like,
Oh,
all right.
damn.
Yeah, Darren, he joined the Patreon and everything. I'm like, hey, bribery works. So like, it had the nice view looking at the head. I'm like, all right, it's got the Gatling gun, so maybe I can have it kind of firing at the ground like there, like he's kind of like trying to scrub the ground to like put troops in front or something.
And Night Warden.
Yeah, Night Warden. How cool. Someone mounted it on the dinosaur with the platform. Oh, that is awesome.
That's it. I think if GW did that, they would actually become richer than Disney.
Yeah, what would be a good idea how I could do one of if to do something like this, if someone had their camera mounted when they took this picture, you could take this and then just leave your camera the same thing but focus on the head, and then I could mush them both together, you know what I mean? Then I would just take the clean head, and because the angle would be the same, it would just be the focus. And so that would be a good way to handle it, because that would look really cool actually with the dinosaur's head all close and this crazy gun platform. I love it's even got the dangling like chains and everything, like it's for real. Like a multi melt, I think.
It's something you don't see every day, but
No.
it's a thermal cannon it's got on the other side. I'm just wondering if they're using this as a count as a knight.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
The other gun could be you could use that as an Avenger minigun, I
Yeah.
suppose, in a weird way. And then you've got the thermal lance on the other side.
This is actually really cool when you think about it. That's a good job.
Did you actually name it or anything? Or
No, deployed in the Emperor's name.
well, if the Emperor's recommended it, well, you can't go against the Emperor.
An Inquisitor. This is very well painted. I like that. Just
Yeah,
just the color tone. It's not the super like 90s GW. I like so many. So I like dig them so many different types. Like I love that the dark red in there looks so cool to me. It's got that nice shadow and gives it some good depth in there. Nice pick.
Yeah, it's using different systems, but obviously you can do that with a lot of their models. You can think like, especially if they're associated with like the ecclesiarchy. So I think you can get models from like Age of Sigmar and use them and convert them over. Give them some like hand weapon, like the flamer.
Yeah, I mean that works. It works flawlessly in this. That thing is. I think that to me, that's kind of like that is what the hobby's all about. You know what I mean? You just make your. This thing is cool too. We put wings. I like what? That's a serious unit. Jump pack, the wings on it, the like hammer, the shield. That is awesome.
Death Company, I think. It looks like a Death Company, unless
Yeah.
they're.
This one would be. That's another one. It does the center thing does fine because you could have the glowing eyes and the glowing hammer would actually really work on this. That would be a strong piece. Interesting effect on the wings. I dig it. I would not have thought of that, and I really like it. Huh. This one, like, I get tempted by these because they like tell like a little narrative story, and this one's like a good composition. I was like, it really works. I'm like, man, it's just a little bit too much. And these ones, I'm tempted because of the colors. I'm like, I could go really like a saturated blue, like they're in this dark blue lit, I don't know what, swamp or whatever.
It looks like they're sort of replicating the armor of the Alpha Legion.
Yeah.
Because you always have that blue with a green tinge to it for their stuff. And Alpha Legion going to be sneaky little sods.
I wonder, it seems they have a little bit of a shine. I wonder what they use to do that blue. It's like, it almost looks like there's not like an ink wash, but it looks like there's something. Maybe it's just I don't know how to paint minis.
Yeah, it looks like they've used Sybarite green, which is the lighter pale green.
Okay, and just went over it, huh? Yeah.
Could be Sotek blue, I think. And then they've just sort of done like edge sort of highlighting here and there. They may have washed it with something as well, but that's how I'm sort of seeing it.
That is like a massive another engine. I don't know what kind of.
With Macarius, I think.
That'll put a hole in something.
Yeah, it's a neutron laser. It's designed to kill big things.
Yeah. Oh, and this one. This is another. Oh, God. Like, that looks like done already. Look at this photo.
That is pretty amazing.
That is. And so, God, I'm so tempted because all I would do is go over it with a real lighter color. I'd shade it a little bit and I would just bring out the units themselves, like make them a little brighter and a little more light on them and just separate it from the background just a little bit and put more focus because I can do the same kind of on the goblins in the front, just on their sword blades and that and draw a little focus on that, but it doesn't like and put some. Oh, this thing is so wicked. That is a fantastic photo. Look at the lighting on that.
Yeah, it's I was looking. I was trying to zoom in on the phone with it. So
Yeah, no, I know. It's like it doesn't. Go check this one out for sure. Look at just the. It's so cool because you have all the goblins in the front, but they were able to keep the lighting on the Stormcast and just capture. They use the shadow in front to frame the Stormcast. Like that is like masterful in composition. So kudos to Casual Hammerer. That is incredible. Look at this. What is this? Is intense. Is that like that's like a heavy conversion, ain't it? I have
yeah.
never seen
Oh yeah, that's the
Void Dragon thing, isn't it?
yeah.
Wow. That's quite a centerpiece. Looks like a
Especially like
piece of art.
yeah. It's interesting also what that's going to use it for instead of.
Yeah, I know. Look at that. That looks like some serious murder happened at the bottom of that tree.
Oh, totally. Don't hang around.
Yeah, this is the one I chose when I first saw it early on. This thing is so cool. Oh, wait. And I think I asked them, never seen before, looks awesome. Board Game Brutality by Stephen Frost is the game. So if anyone likes this miniature, it's from Board Game Brutality. And look at this one. Goathead, the Goathead kind of knows my artistic soul. So I don't even know the person. I'm like, oh, you get me. You know how to lay out a composition where I'm going to get sucked in. This one I almost did because I need to do more in the the vertical format because instead of the horizontal, I'll keep it doing the horizontal, but vertical works better for YouTube. And this was it looks action packed. That's the thing about this. This is a great composition. And then I chose this one just because it'd be simple. And I love the angle. I'm like, okay, I can, it's got the little candle at the bottom. I'm like, I'll try something. Great compositions with these photos. Oh, man. Look at that thing. Almost. I was worried about it being a little complex for this.
Yeah.
Really dig what they have going on for the gold here. It's not super like saturated or whatever, and it works with the cool blues. That's like and the red, like this is like a real, to me, a real masterful take on color. They did a lot of subtle choices that worked out brilliantly.
Yeah,
It
it's very pale, sort of
mm-hmm.
yellow gold, which gold, well, yellow and blue are quite good colours to have next to each other anyway.
Yeah.
But that sort of just that subtleness does sort of
Yeah, it
blend
adds
it.
to it. It really places it to me. It like pulls the wings in the, and see that's where I would learn from this, because even though I would quote unquote know that, my instinct would still have been like, oh, go with like a really saturated yellow, orange, gold armor, and and I know it wouldn't have looked cool. So this is one of those things where I take it. I'm like, okay, I'll remember just this effect, and it'll kind of stick with me for cooling down gold or whatever. Great work. And then this one, Zane, I think I've done a paint over for Zane before, but oh, I'm like, it's gonna probably end up getting done again because I'm like, all right, this is like the old school Warhammer gore fest art. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do like a big blood splatter with the blade and everything. I love this thing. I don't know why. I was just like, all right, that's a proper amount of gore on this bad boy.
It's what they like, those incubi. This is like
Yeah, I'm like, I don't see
looking
him
at
go
yeah,
all out. Like that's some cool blood to me. I mean, they put it all over, and yet it works to me. It's like it really looks like, all right, they were splattering some stuff. What's even good on this one is normally I wouldn't like to have a blur on this, but I can basically make it look like he's swinging it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, I can take that one and put some action to it. But another great photo. So thanks. I think that covers everyone. Thanks for submitting all those, and thanks for the coffee tips and joining the Patreon, especially you, Doug. And now I can actually try to get something done, I think. Don't talk about it, be about it. I did all that. Now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done. It's like, nope, do the paint overs.
now it's like this. There's this program that has been running for decades on like children's TV called Blue Peter, and you'd normally do at that situation we go, and here's one I done earlier.
Yeah.
Bring it out. Look, I've done it already. Whilst you was chatting around there, I'd already done it. So I'm awesome.
I definitely need more of that. And I noticed, so I started doing some of that. I'm like, well, let me get like basically to as far as I got now. It's like, let me just at least figure out the color and make sure it's clean and whatever. And but I also noticed too that it'll, I don't know how to explain it. It's like I learn a lot from just like make sure you get it done, like go on the show, don't overthink it and whatever. So I'm kind of conscious of like trying not to change how I do it and start overthinking it. It's like you gotta, I have a tendency to like want to overthink it. And oh wait, what is that? Overlay. Let's try to light them up just a little bit. I already forgot the name of the game. What is it? Brutality or something? I'll have to look it up.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Even from
check it out just for this miniature. I'm like, all right, that's a cool sculpt. I'm gonna have to go see what they got going on. And this one, all I'm gonna try to do is punch up the lighting a little bit, like put the shadow in, put a little more lighting to make some things pop. But I really, love these eyes.
Get those eyes glowing. It's sort of like it's Halloween time and the pumpkins are out.
Yeah.
There's lots of celebration over here with the 1st of September means pumpkin spice lattes are now available again.
Everyone's been they've been talking about it like here, like once in a while I've been driving, like turn on the radio, and multiple times they've been talking about, okay, it's pumpkin spice. Everyone's like just super pumpkin spiced out. They're like talking about pumpkin spice beer and all kinds of stuff.
Spice must flow.
Yeah.
It's been very quiet in the chat today.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that. And we had like 5 people watching, now with 3. It's interesting. Maybe it's one of those days.
Yeah, so I thought I posted up earlier just to see if it was working.
Yeah, are we here? Did everyone drop out? Yeah, at least I'll get some stuff done. I don't know. Like this broken, I don't know what this. It's like a stone sword that's broken.
Well, it's so big. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I'm like,
what is
oh, hey, Echo, thanks for making it.
Oh,
Yeah,
poor Echo.
Some good.
About we're friendly.
Echo submitted some good pictures this week.
Spline Swine, hello.
Oh, I gotta do this.
Well, very silly Spline Swine, but welcome. This is the part when everyone can join in.
Yeah.
He's busy just doing his thing now, and I'm just watching the glowing eyes as they stare deep into my soul.
I know, that's like the best thing about this sculpt. It's such a cool effect.
Are you keeping the background dark on this as well? Or?
I'm gonna try to. I don't think I'm gonna. I just wanted to play with that and keep it cartoony. I don't think I'll do too much. I'll do something like I want to. And see, I don't know what to do with the stone sword. Part of me is like, okay, do I make the sword itself glow? But it really isn't made to glow. So then maybe I just like amp up the light behind them. And I think that's kind of what I'll do.
I don't know. You could obviously, if it's like a magical stone sword, it could have like an etherical glow about it. If you wanted to introduce that light from behind, then obviously that sitting there right at the top is going to produce like a halo effect, isn't it? Really.
I know, and so that's why I can't. So because it has like some shadow in this area, so I'm like, it has shadow in here. So I'm like, well, do I bump up that this area, the blue behind them, to really like make it like a, like the light source, or that's kind of what I was debating. Because my whole thing is, I saw the eyes, I'm like, I want to capture the eyes, and I'll put some stuff floating off of them, and maybe like I might have to get the floor to recede into the background a bit more.
Oh, hello from the goat head, hive mind. So I believe hive mind is goat head.
Oh, all right. Oh, thanks for making it. Yeah, there's some awesome stuff.
Some extra couples.
Hey, which one was? I know. This one I added. What did I put on here? I already did a few things.
Here's one you produced earlier.
Yeah, this is one I put the extra. I moved that cherub and put it, duplicated them, put a few more in, put some hoses around, put some extra little hoses there, and then kind of did that to block it out. And then I'm trying to pull it back forward. Now I got to put light on it, I want to put like more sparks and stuff on this one, and energy coming off and all that, and have little light sources.
It's about the sparkles.
Yep, got to have the sparkles. Let me get some more on this one done. Now, what do I want? What you been up to this week? Anything special?
Trying to think. Our son's birthday was on Sunday, so
Oh, right on.
that was spent with him and my daughter. There was a barbecue involved and some crazy golf.
Crazy golf?
Yeah, 18-hole crazy golf.
What's that?
2-9-hole crazy golf. We do 18-hole crazy golf. And it was crazy.
Enough said.
Yeah, there was no decent sort of clubs, unfortunately. There was no Berthas or Cobras or Pin, Hippo or anything like that. It was just, here's your putter. Go for it. So we did. I don't even know what my score was. I was keeping track of the score between them and friends. And I didn't get to add up the score. My daughter took it off me and was doing all that, and I never told what the scores were. I think I've done okay. I was probably about par for an 18-hole crazy golf course with the usual perils like bunkers and castles.
I've seen some cool. I have to go to like a putt one. The other thing is, my friend talking about frisbee golf, and I've never been doing that. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should.
Recently.
What was that?
I only just heard about that recently.
Yeah, I knew about it for a while. I guess they have more around here than I thought, and I was like, I should go try. And I guess it's free around here. Oh shit! I'm working on the wrong layer. Pardon me. That's like one of the worst things I do consistently.
Well, it's trial and error sometimes.
Yeah, that's why it wasn't coming in right. Here we go. So we'll try the blue behind and see if that does anything.
I'm trying to think what else I've been doing since I last spoke to you.
Wait, what did you say?
I was just trying to remember. I was trying to think. Have I done anything else apart from the birthday?
Did we talk Titan Walk? Yeah, we talked Titan Walk last week.
Yeah, that was the weekend before. There's another one this weekend, which I won't be attending. That's we got invited to a event called Greetings from the Warp, which is in Nottingham. Not Nottingham, sorry, Northampton, which is probably around about 100 odd miles from where I am, maybe a bit more actually. It would take a couple of hours to get there at least. It's a bit further on from where we were the other week.
Yeah.
but it's a 3-day like gaming event, so they've got lots of different game activities going on, sort of like Horus Heresy, Adeptus Titanicus, 40k, and everything, and loads of other things, and other game systems. And you have the Cult of Paint are there doing some educational tutorial, whatever. So we got invited to do a Titan walk at this event. So a load of the guys and girls are going down there on Saturday the 4th for doing their Titan walk, which apparently is about 70 Titans.
Really? That's still a ton. That's like a
ton. Well, 20 of less than the main one.
Yeah, that's amazing. Darren, thanks for making it. Says, hi, lurking. Forgot it's game night. Just about to start an evening of Blackstone Fortress. Right on. I heard, I don't know really anything about Blackstone Fortress, but I always heard good things.
It's a sort of self-contained game system, much like all these box sets they've been releasing for the last sort of year or two.
Yeah.
It has so much. I'm going to disappear. Woo! I'm trying to get old. My camera. I don't know what's happened to my camera. I'm getting myself out of focus. I'm like, where am I going? Sorry, I digress. No, the Blackstone. It's a self-contained system. It's got obviously characters in there that you can play in your little team and go through doing the missions against all these like adversarial aliens within this Blackstone Fortress that has been discovered. Because obviously you're like treasure hunters. It's like Lara Croft in space.
Yeah, they really pushed it with that stuff now. You know what I mean? I was like, that's one thing I was surprised by. I'm like, wow, when I started looking back into it, I'm like, they put out a lot more like little box sets and try different things.
Yeah, it's like little expansions and bits. Like there was one of the other ones came out where you had like a rogue trader.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that too.
Some very flamboyant looking characters and stuff. So again, they're sort of people that you'd get the models just to have.
Yep.
For like maybe converting into sort of Inquisitor type characters and stuff, or if you, it depends on your army really. You might be able to do some work with them, but yeah. So I don't think there's been that much released for them recently, but the models look cool, and that's the thing. Looking at that now, that reminds me of like a playing card, like a card game.
Yeah.
Game,
it's so cool. It's just like a good, amazing sculpt, man. I'm gonna go check out that thing. That is good design on that thing. And let me do a little more light. Let me switch one.
Good old Titan walks. Yes, they are good, and they're getting old. No, they're not. They are very enjoyable. So as I said, you've got this one this weekend, sorry, at the Greens for the Warp, and we've also got another demo walk next year at Beachhead, which is an event down on the south coast. So again, it's like another sort of gaming convention type thing down in Poole, I believe, or Bournemouth, one of the two. So there'll be another group of Titan heads heading down for that.
Yeah, that's a lot of work when you put all those bottles together and got to go travel and all that stuff. So kudos on that.
Yeah, get down there, get them all out, and then you say it's mostly like you're having a game, but you're also there, and people will come up and like speak to you, want to have a look.
Yeah.
You're sort of helping in that, so it is a demonstration type thing. I know the guys from Maximal Fire, which is a podcast type thing. They're doing some Adeptus Titanicus games down there, so they're on the smaller scale. So they've got sort of a few tables for playing some games over the weekend. So they'll be there. So I'll be popping in to say hello to them. And yeah, so
it finally. This is a story that won't mean anything to anyone, but I still have to tell it. So I've been trying to, like, around my whatever time, lunch or whatever, when I take a break, I'll try to play a game or two of Apex. It's Apex Legends, and first person shooter, and I just jump in solo, and it loads pretty fast so I can get games in. And usually I jump in with like just me, and you'll get two random people, which most of the time you know what you get when you get random people. Like they jump right into like the center where everyone's going to be fighting. It's just like bad strategy from the get-go, so you're used to getting wiped out at the start. But today I played one, and I take like the scout character with a zip line, so I'm usually pretty good about like getting to the center of the map where it's going to close to, and then set up your ambush position for the people who are going to come there. And we got all the way to second, and I didn't make a bad. My team died because they were charging ahead, and I got to be the last person. And the ring was super closing, and I was fighting two of them, and I knocked down their shield, and they got me. And I was like, darn it! So I finished second, and then the second game I played another one, and we jumped to a good spot, and we were moving, and I got dropped by a squad. Like, they had a good, like, I was just out in the open, like crossing something, and they hit me a couple times, and I went down, and I was able to fall to cover. And then I didn't know who I had. Like, I just had two random people, and so then they got in a fight. And I watched their health; they were like almost down to nothing, and they ended up beating them. And I was like, "Oh, cool! That was a 2-on-3 because I was out of it, and I didn't die, so they were able to respawn me." And then we got further on, and then they got jumped, and I was so glad because like one of them got knocked down, and I was able to, like, they didn't see me coming, and I went around the corner, and I opened up this guy with a shotgun, and then took out his buddy right away. So I dropped two of them, that finished off the squad. And then we got to the end, and the ring was super close again. I'm like, oh gosh, this is like the second time in the end, and these guys were decent, and we ended up getting a win. So that was kind of like a no nothing story, but I had to tell it because it felt good. Because when you get random people, and usually, like, I don't know, 8 out of 10 times there's no teamwork. So when someone's floating around, they just get whacked, and your whole like chances of winning are over. But that was a good little video game day for me. I was like, all right, I played my 2 games and actually got an Apex win in.
Yeah, with Apex, I was hoping that it was going to be a new form of Titanfall that they was working on.
Oh,
But
yeah.
they were copying like Fortnite and how popular that was. I'm a massive Titanfall fan.
So me too. That was one of the games that I still kind of played. I'd be like, Titanfall. I love that combat first person shooter, and I thought they blended it seamlessly with hopping in and out of your mech. I was like, that's so cool, you know. And I was
hardcore defense type games.
I was a little more. I was kind of, when they said Apex, I was like, oh, I thought you were gonna do Titanfall 3 and whatever. You know what I mean? But I never played. The first time I played one of those ring closing games was Apex.
Yeah.
And at first, like, a little too, I guess I used to play more like even Titanfall or like a Call of Duty where it was like, okay, kill and keep moving. The kills were faster. This was different in that, you're not killing like that in the combat. This is more to me like ambush. Apex is like all about ambushing. It's like to me, it's like be in a better position, and then when someone doesn't, like, if someone walks into a room and two of you are there with shotguns, one of their team's down. You know what I mean? So like if you set up a good ambush, you can get somewhere.
Yeah, no, for some reason, me and shotguns in games are generally not good friends. Something just going on like a boom, and you're dead.
I like a Havoc. I had a good Havoc. It's a 3-round burst. And for medium range, I tend to want to keep them at range. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a good gun because if you hit them with the full burst, it does some damage. I still don't know. I think the energy weapons drop the shields faster, but I'm not sure. And so there's some things I'm not really keyed up on at all because it's not like I've played a lot, but
Yeah.
it's
When I used to sort of play like Destiny with like the guys that I had, like my friends and stuff
Mhm.
from Xbox, we had this woman who I've known since I started Xboxing back in 2007.
Yeah.
Um, made some friends. I'm still friends with a few of them, sort of thing,
Yeah.
like in real life.
Yeah.
I actually lived with them. So, uh, but this woman who's called Sam, she never spoke, never ever spoke. Everything came through on text. But she was probably one of the best team players and solo players I've
Yeah.
had the pleasure of being in. Because if you was in a game with her, like we used to do a lot, we all met through playing a game called Shadowrun
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
back in 2007,
Yeah, that was a great game actually.
and it was like 6 on 6, sort of like capture the flag, deathmatch type things.
Yeah.
And if you had Sam on your team, you could all be dead, and she, absolutely phenomenal player. Um, but yeah, as I say that, and again on Destiny, like Destiny, she used to have a YouTube channel years ago, and like she put up when she done one of the raids solo.
Oh, okay.
Like, really, really hard to do
Yeah.
as a team, but doing it solo, which was I think with a Crota one. Um, it weren't Vaulted Glass. That was the second one she done. And it's just like you just watch it. It's like 20 minutes long. It's how long it took her to do. I've been on raids which you're on it for like it seems like days
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like somebody's not doing the right thing at the right time, and like even like in your teams, I'm not the greatest of players. I'm a good team player,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm not the person you want to be depending on to hold out for like a minute while people are sort of
Hmm.
like getting to like the regen respawn type thing. And
Echo says, "Nice, a fellow Destiny player."
yeah, no, I played Destiny a little bit earlier on in the year whilst in lockdown, and sort of really sort of zoomed up, and I really enjoyed the sort of updates they've had because you get bows in there now as well. So like you can go around with
Okay.
one, well, say one shot, you get some legendary bows that can like you can do multi shot at once with them. But they're just like I like that sort of because it reminds me of the torque bow from Gears of War,
Yeah.
which I also enjoyed. I don't know what it is. I did like a bow until I go. Ooh!
Oh no, they're fun in video games.
But yeah, Destiny for this year, I haven't played with a on Destiny at all. It's all been what I like say like slumming. When you just go out, sometimes you just end up with some randoms like you did,
Mhm.
and sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. But you just
They
go at
did.
it.
I played some Destiny, and I thought they did. I like how it was. They kind of did it. Was it like a cross mix between you could go out with your friend, and you didn't have to always be killing real people, but you could. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, what was it like a cross between?
The P versus D and P versus P as well. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
because you get people that like just playing against other people,
Hmm.
and there's different. You can collect your weapons and armor for PvP
Yeah.
as well as PvE. So you can cater your whatever class you're playing that you prefer, um, and whatever powers your favourite sort of thing. Because obviously you've got your 4 different powers now, haven't you? So you've got like you got the flaming one where you're like firing flaming hammers at people.
Yeah, see, it's been a while. I only played when I don't even know if I played. Are they on? No, are they on Destiny 2?
Mm.
No,
Yeah,
they
Destiny
are.
2 still going, and they're doing all the different updates and the different DLCs for it now as well. So you had Titans, Warlocks, and Hunters. So Hunters was like snipers. Warlocks, you know, magic-y type ability type thing ish, and then Titans were like your tanks. So I've never played any other class. I made up a class to play, I think, a hunter, and I think I might have played it once in one game, and I'll just stick with hunter. And I haven't touched warlock, so I've just basically just maxed out as much as I can on hunter, gained the powers that they have, and then you just customize your character to suit.
I'll have to pick up some. I've been trying because I had that. What else was I going to try? I can't remember, but there's a few things. Oh, and the other thing. Oh my gosh, I got to play Half-Life Alyx on the VR again, and so I got past so before I didn't really get into any real combat. I was still I only played for I don't know, an hour or something. I just got mystified walking around, And this time I played, he was further along and he got stuck at this point, and so of course I have to kind of be like, here, give me that. I never played, but dude, I was fascinated. Okay, you're in a gunfight with these two big, they have basically mini guns, right? So they're firing, they shoot they wind up and they fucking spray, whoops, like this gun, they spray a whole bunch of bullets. And you're in the world, right? And I'm behind a car and I'm in a 3D world, but I'm leaning forward over the car. So I'm trying to, he's to my right, kind of like behind a wall, and I'm leaning out across the hood of a car, trying to look to my right behind a blade. And so I'm literally putting my arm forward, and then I'm pivoting my wrist on a little bit of an angle, and you can see it all play out. I'm like, wow, you're doing wrist control and making it's you're literally trying to lean to hit the shot, and that just was blowing my mind. I'm like, wow, you can see this. And the accuracy, I got a little a red dot scope. It wouldn't produce a laser, but it would put this holographic light down the middle of your sights, and just how it would work. You would hold it with one hand, and if you just hold a laser beam with one hand on far enough, you see it shaking no matter how steady handed you are, and you would see that effect. So then if you put you obviously you hold both hands and it would steady it, and that was just amazing because it's calculating the headshots, and how accurate it was to where you were hitting was just blowing my mind. I was like, this is incredible. The fact that I'm leaning around stuff, and then they would fire and you would literally have to crouch down because I got clipped once. And so you crouching behind the car was literally getting away from the gunfire. So A, I was getting way too much exercise, but B, I was like, dude, this is how I would have to exercise. I'm like, this stuff had me moving up and down and wanting to go around and everything. That was intense. I did not, it's to play it again and to really see it and see how, I'm just like, wow, that is going to be a lot of future of video games. Because the first thing I was like, dude, they're going to have a game where you're on the German side of D-Day and you're just behind bunkers shooting. I would just play that simulation all the time. As accurate as those guns were and stuff and how it looked and played out, I'm like, that stuff is incredible.
I think that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about Gears of War was the whole mechanic, lean over the top, you could lean around the side, and do all that sort of thing. And then obviously getting up close with a lancer and then revving the chainsaw right into your dude, your enemy. That was fun. I absolutely, I played through 1, 2, and 3. Actually, because on Game Pass you get 4 and 5. So I started playing 4, and then I got distracted by other games. But I love that whole the story, the backdrop of the cog and Marcus. It was just such a great storyline, characters like Coltrane. Woo! Here comes Coltrane. Yeah, it was fantastic. And I played that for well, we were friends for ages. Doing all the little sort of like because they do the horde mode as well, didn't they? In that.
Yeah.
But I always remember I was playing on the first one. I played through. We started off on normal, and then went through on the next level on hard, sort of thing. And then there was like hardcore.
Okay.
And I always remember going through on hardcore, and I think because I'd played through it already, it seemed easier.
Gotcha.
It didn't feel like it was actually.
Yeah, you kind of hit the stride of the level, and then you kind of know it. So yeah, I can see that.
But you know where they're coming from and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But obviously they're tougher, and they're more accurate with their shooting and fighting and stuff like that. But I remember going through that and doing the last mission, which was Power Horse, which was the one where you're fighting against like the big bad dude.
Yeah.
And just doing it on hardcore, and just like I was finished. It took us longer doing it on normal level. But by then, obviously, we were badass veterans of the war on Sarah, or whatever it was called, the planet. Whenever I played Titanfall, for a while and switched over, I played Hunter on B2. I tried wall running.
Yeah, I get totally. That was the problem when I played more games, and you'd switch between two games, and it was like, especially if they were both shooters, it always called like you have to recalibrate yourself. You have to get like calibrated for the game you're playing.
Yeah, like Halo.
Yeah, Halo.
So fun.
That was when I played a lot. GoldenEye and Halo, the original Halo, I played those a lot.
Yeah, I went through most Halos. I haven't played. I think Halo 4 was the last one I done.
Yeah, I actually loaded up 5, and I really dug it. I don't really know anyone that really plays, like 1 or 2 people maybe, and that's when I used to play, is when you'd get like 3-4 people together, like, okay, let's go play. We play like Call of Duty or whatever, or Halo, but so no one was really playing, so I was kind of like, I liked. There's something about I like a lot of different style of shooters. Like Halo is just so clean and so like, you right away have all the weapons, and go out there and get it done. You don't have to level nothing up. You don't have to do any of that stuff, or at least you didn't have to before.
Yeah, so I liked. I used to like playing Ghost Recon games. Like they used to be quite advanced warfare and stuff like that.
I played those first ones coming out were really phenomenal, because you had that UAV effect where you'd be on the battlefield, you'd UAV and it would mark the enemies, and then your whole squad could try to get them. They had some crazy stuff in that game.
And plus, because it was like, if you get shot, there's a very good chance that you're going to die from it, sort of thing. So whereas like Modern Warfare, you're getting shot. Oh, I'm back again.
Yeah.
So you have to play it sort of properly, and like he was doing like 4-player going along, and like you cover this side, you cover that side. I need fire support and all that sort of stuff. So you set out your teams, and we used to do quite well on that, because it was that whole
right.
Trying to work together to actually do it properly. So
not just go running out there, winging it with some bullets and see what happens.
But like when you're playing like other sort of game, like again like on Destiny, like I would literally because being a Titan, I'd make sure once I'd got like my special up sort of thing, I would just go running headfirst into any sort of room and just getting ripped and just jump in there, doing some sort of mad arc effect.
Make it happen. It's like when you run into a room with just a pistol and they have a machine gun, you got to make it happen.
I'm totally going Leroy Jenkins.
Gotta be a hero.
Past everybody. And sort of jumping in there. Sort of I consider myself a weapon of mass distraction.
That's funny.
Somebody going, oh, look, it's him. And then the others can run in behind, and then boo, boo, boo. That was the plan that I had in my head that I never told anybody.
There, put a little shade on this one. And I think I went with the light from the bottom, even though it does look like the photo itself has a little more light coming from the bottom. So I think I was going to put the moon in the sky, and I was going to do maybe red on the bottom with the moon. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to play it. I might have a little candle light coming up and try to light it up a little bit.
You're definitely going with your sort of dark period today.
I know. Well, they always do because I put the tinted layer on and then bring them out. And then what I usually do at the end is I'll end up lightening that tinted layer just to.
See, with this sort of model, what I am actually seeing is actually in a catacomb.
Yeah.
So you'd need like a bit of ceiling action or something.
That's what I was gonna see. That's the other thing. I was debating making it really. Wait. So, yes. Let me see. I was debating.
Bit of fog about.
Wait, if I just let me see. This ain't gonna work right, but it's to try the attempt because you're right. I was gonna go.
Uplight it or something.
Yeah, and I was gonna kind of do the candle and then just pull out. Wait, here, we'll try this. And that's why I do a lot of these too, because it's good for me to try like kind of whatever half talk it through or just try to figure out what's
going on.
Yeah, what's the good way to actually make it look right? Because it's like a lot like a puzzle. You're trying to do light and shadow and dark and light and.
My light source was a whole window. I didn't manage to take better shots from Hive Mind.
No, you know what? You got you don't need super good shots. You need to, it's like whatever you can capture it. It's the same with like painting to me. Like the miniatures don't even have to be like this miraculous paint job. It's just if you capture like some essence good, it makes the paint over good, I guess.
Waiting for dinner.
You were waiting for dinner?
No. The vampire is it's waiting there.
Oh yeah.
Waiting for dinner.
I'm just hanging around.
Yeah. Got a cookie on my candle.
And these, I mean, what have we been? An hour and 13 minutes. All right.
A Phantom of the Opera style.
Yeah, I want to get a little bit. I want like the wafting, like foggy darkness, creepy
Thriller.
Yeah, smoke machine, vampire with a smoke machine. Where's the one? I don't want flame. I thought there was a smoke one I liked. Let me try. You got any plans for the weekend?
No, we'll just work this one.
Working.
Working and working.
How's the whole? What degree of COVID lockdown or what's going on?
Oh, we've got no lockdown as such. It's all a bit weird. Like people don't want to wear masks and stuff like that. So
Yeah, a whole mix of stuff going on. I wonder what this winter's gonna be like. This might be a long winter. Low battery. I didn't plug this thing in. Damn it.
Oh no.
Dun, dun, dun. if that's making it work. Hive Mind, thanks for sticking around still. I'll try to do it justice. And some of these I'm gonna work on them, and then I'll finish them up probably over like the next day. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm almost there, and then I can't. I don't want to rush something, even though on these this is half the point, but still. I got to go out more golfing. It cooled down a little finally. So there was a hot like week or two here, and now it got cooler, and I managed to go golf the other day. And I want to go out once more. I wouldn't mind like Friday morning maybe, but I want to try to get out again. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be winter. I'm like, go, get your. And I was a good adult, and I stopped at they had the farm stand, so I got good fresh vegetables that were really good. So I had like I made just chopped up tomato, onion, and cucumber with like oil and vinegar and some like salt and pepper, and so that's been doing good.
That's been a tasty option.
Yeah. And I'm like, do it now because it's not going to be like, now all the farms around here are selling fresh stuff. So I'm like, chow down and go get some more.
Actually,
eating processed junk or anything.
Yeah, I bought the other day, last Saturday actually, before when I got in from work, getting ready for my live stream and that, and I just grabbed myself basically a piece of steak.
Yeah.
And I was fried that up with some onions and some like green, yellow, and red peppers, sort of thing, in the pan together. But before I added the steak, I was frying up the onions and peppers. I added. I've never done this before. I added some Worcester sauce.
Yeah.
And it gave it a really nice, tang to it. And I thought, oh, I'm experimenting, and I haven't, managed to kill myself or poison myself. And then it was just like a bit of it was only a cheap bit of like rump steak sort of thing.
Yeah,
which I then cut in half, and I basically had them in 2 Scotch rolls with the onions and peppers on top, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that was very, very nice. Very simple, quick, but very, very nice.
I did. So that's what I'm all about quickness. I did the ones I like. Gosh, I just put literally like I did cabbage because I really like cabbage, but then I'll get like half lazy about cooking it, and I was like, all right, so just slice it up, slice some onions up, season it just a little bit, and kind of like slowly fried it, but all I put was like put some olive oil just to brown just a little bit, and then like just a little water to like, you know what I mean, and it sat there for a while to kind of like break it down because how cabbage is like sturdy like that. Yeah. And then I just took a smoked sausage and sliced it up and then put that in there and then fried it for a while. Gosh, it was so good. Because the little bit of fattiness like melted down, and then it was like perfect timing with the cabbage and the onions, and I was like, all right, good. I'm like, some cabbage and onions that's like all 100% health, and then I'm like a little like sausage with fat, so what? It's not anything crazy. So that was it.
It complements it.
Yeah, it really does. It just gets that little bit of fat on there, and it was perfect.
Hanging out. Definitely has that sort of creepy vibe now with the smokiness.
I know. That's what I want. I want like I don't know what I'm gonna do. I keep trying different. That's way too blue. Like, I imagine you went down into like his lair, and then he's hanging around. He's hanging around.
Not interacting much because I'm studying at the moment, but it's definitely pleasant to watch some cool art in the making.
Studying. Wonder what he's studying.
That's what happens here, Hive Mind. The goathead. He just gets on and just does create some sort of like epic awesomeness. with whatever it is. Now I'm looking at that and I'm keep on seeing like pirate ships and stuff. It's like these old pictures and paintings and images I've seen of like, you know, ships docking down in a misty evening.
Yeah.
And then the vampires there. Because why not? You got pirates, let's throw in some vampires.
Yeah, you can have vampires wherever there's pirates.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah. That totally works. As the reminds me, like vampires was I used to play Oblivion. So you know, like Skyrim.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what. Yeah, I know Skyrim, but I know I've seen the cover. Now I know Oblivion all the time, but I don't think I ever played it. I don't know kind of what it's like.
Yeah, no, it was like for its time. At the time when I got onto it, it was pretty amazing. Now I don't play those games like that and Fallout 3.
Yeah.
I played a similar sort of time, and I played with Oblivion. I didn't do any of the missions. I just basically went out exploring, and you know, I went out got up, found some caves, went into them as you do, ended up finding some vampires, and ended up become like a vampire type thing. They bit you, and so like you were stronger at night and not so good in the day, sort of thing. Which I didn't realise had actually happened. I completely sort of blasé about it.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I played that, and that's all I did. I went around searching the map, basically, just doing that, and I played it for about 100 hours before actually starting the campaign.
Yeah.
Like I accumulated all this stuff that I was hiding in sort of barrels or whatever, and all these other bits. And I was like all leveled right up and everything. And then I thought, oh, I might as well start the mission, sort of thing. But the one thing I always remember about Oblivion was there was this place called Cloudy Top, which was a site on a mountain, and you go up there. And I was up there on my horse, and I sort of remember it was sunrise, and I looked out as the sun was coming up in the game, and you're looking out across from this high vantage point and all that, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And in the computer game, it was just such a beautiful sight. And I no word of lie, I shed a tear of how it was just so amazing, you know, just to see this vista in a computer game. And you're like,
they do have some that are incredible now, like that.
yeah, no, it was, you know, I've not had that same sort of effect in my other games. Like, you know, I played Skyrim, and so like when I was playing Fallout 3, I literally done something similar. I went out just exploring. I didn't do the missions. So I was like in Fallout where you can get power armor. I was getting power armor, but I couldn't actually use it because I hadn't done like the early stage of the missions where you do like 7 missions in. You meet the Brotherhood of Steel, do that, and then they train you how to use it. So I had loads of parts. I was living in a ramshack building in Bethesda, and literally just like as my base of operations, going out, coming back there, finding my stuff, you know, doing the lockers that I put it into, and I did at the time. I remember seeing there was like legendary weapons that they had, and I would go and do those missions. So it was like treasure hunts. You'd go to certain places and you'd find them. So they weren't exactly missions. There was like things that you found. So I did all that. And again, after about 100 hours, I was already level 20, which is the max you could be in that. Then I started doing all the actual missions itself. But I'd done the whole map. You know, I've gone where I could, because there were certain things you couldn't go into because you hadn't done the mission to actually maybe open up or have that vital like pass key or whatever to get into things. Like in for that free, basically there's a town called Megaton.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't find that for donkeys because I turned left when I came out of the vault. I went left, and like Megaton was like 2 minute walk that to my right, and I could have gone there, set up and whatever. But no, I went left and went all around everywhere before coming back and then finding Megaton. Oh, engine field.
Phil, thanks for making it.
I saw him earlier on, actually.
Wait, didn't what did he? Was it Engine Phil? Engine Phil? Did you post something with a shield? Was that you, where you painted a shield? If that was you, that was really cool. I think it was a shield.
He's recently been doing his big Titans, and he'd done a shield where he has Metallica on it.
Huh.
Because he's Leisure Metallica.
Gotcha. I know Phil has cool stuff all the time.
Oh, we've done a Titan knee with the face on it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that thing was so cool. Great little, you got a lot of subtle colors going on it. You had some, like, I don't know if it looks like that stretching effect really worked. Yeah, that was kudos on that. That's looking sweet.
Yeah, Demon's face on a Chaos Reaver Titan.
That thing is awesome.
The boy's got mad painting skills.
Yeah, apparently. As I seen some stuff, I'm like, man, that thing is sharp. And this one I'm going to end up taking way more time on later, but this thing is cool. So much going on.
Yeah, they're all getting his parts of his armor in place and installed with their.
Yeah. Like, had just, to me, this it makes me think of those classic, almost like the John Blanche, and just that crazy amount of stuff going on.
Yeah, let's say John Blanche, you'd need a bit more, some more candles around.
Yeah.
Really horrendous looking sort of servitor types getting involved, and a lot more power claws. It's reaching in, grabbing stuff.
Wait, let me go.
Apart from that, he's pretty impressive. The whole setup that he's done there.
Yeah, I just look. It has this. It almost reminds me of, like, not Victorian art, but it like has a mix of art style in with the sculpture itself that it really works for me. It just makes it fun.
More fat babies.
Yeah, can't
Little
go wrong with
cherubs.
anything with creepy fat mechanical cherub babies.
Yeah, especially bred and created to be babies, because obviously it's the most ergonomically astute.
Yeah, and
fly is fat babies.
Geiger used to do weird. Maybe that's like part of it too. Was like the creepy weird baby stuff. It's like,
yeah, why not? Get them in there. They got nothing better to
do. It's the dark. It's the grim dark.
Yeah, Scrim Dark, we can do that. We can stick babies there. Get them flying and doing jobs. They've got to earn their place.
Cherubs. What have you been? I didn't catch last Saturday's show. What did you work on your Saturday?
Reaver Titan for the Legio Domitium, the Unbroken Lords. So they're the purple and white ones.
Okay.
So at the moment, I'm going through. I've got a few Titans I've got left to build, and so I'm going through what Legios need the additional Titans. So I've got one more Reaver, a Warbringer, and a Warlord to put out there somewhere. So I'm just literally looking through my lists and then choosing what's what.
Gotcha. What? Yeah, this one will have a lot of little detail stuff I'll mess with. want to just make those hoses and stuff pop just a little more, just get a little different depth in there. We had video game talk. We had all kinds of talk today.
Yeah, we've had some food mentionings.
Yeah.
We like the food. Titan Wars, other events.
There's
golf.
been nothing. You've been watching Ted Lasso, I assume?
Yep. I enjoyed last week's episode. It was. I think there was something the week before it felt a little bit weird, which was like the Christmassy one.
Yeah, it was that was the only thing to me. I was like, okay, it seemed a little out of season, but I'm like, okay, I dig it.
But this one had a little bit more, and because I think you need to have a bit more Jamie Tart in there.
Yeah.
Although I am glad that Roy is back.
So am I, and it was good to see whatchamacallit's play work too when he stepped up.
Nathan.
Yeah, Nate the Great. Yeah.
The Great. Yeah.
I was glad to see that one. I was like, all right, he's finding his kind of voice in the coaching shuffle.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was nice. Yeah, it had that. I think what was missing from the previous episode, because the previous episode was all right, but it's not what sort of.
It was very just like a lighthearted. It was one tone across the whole episode.
Yeah. But no, so it's like Jamie Tart, be a prick.
Yeah, be a prick. He's like he's gonna score from there. I was like, all right,
I'll give you a signal. What kind of signal? You'll know.
You're a prick. You still like,
do what you do best, and that's being a prick.
Yeah, I was glad. I was like, oh, I didn't know he was coming back like right then or whatever it was last week, but it was cool to see him get back coaching with the team. That'll be a good dynamic.
Yes. No. So it's interesting. I'm looking forward to this week's episode as well.
Oh wait, yeah, that's like in 2 days. Like God, these weeks. Yeah. Dude, I got a little shot of existential dread like the other day. I'm like, oh my God, it's like everything's gonna end. My life will be over soon. Blah blah. I'm like, oh, snap out of it, dude. Snap out of it. It's so funny the little things cheer you up. Well, it's not little to me because it actually adds up. Like someone joining the Patreon. I was like, all right, good. Like it came just a great moment. It really boosted me. Nope. Look at the banner. Creepy banners. And there we go. I'm debating setting a goal. I might set a little goal on the coffee donation system because I'm thinking about doing another iPad. Yeah, I might. I gotta think it through more and look at it, but it might really help me. So we'll see. Oh, what's freezing up here? And the fact that I've been working on this one heavy for like 4 years, I start to worry. Like, it hasn't shown any signs of anything bad, but I still.
Well, it's had its use. If you've had it for 4 years, you've used
steady.
it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I've used it, and I'm like, okay, I don't, and I don't like absolutely need it, but I'm like, there's the newer camera. So if I have another Apple device, I can film with it. So I use my phone for the switcher. I show the screen of this, and then the next Apple device would have a camera that I can either like put on models or show me. And the ones on the new iPad are like the ones on the new iPhone where they're incredible, and you can hold the miniature close and it'll zoom and do a lot of cool stuff. So I was like, all right, and then again it'll run full Photoshop, like with this one wouldn't. So I could Photoshop on it if I wanted, and it would carry more this one, when I got it, I wasn't like, oh, I didn't think I would need the room or whatever, so I got the smaller size, and I was like, all right, dude, next time go bigger, because, but I'm starting to edit the videos and everything on it, so it carries a lot of stuff on it now.
You keep on looking at his leg, going like, oh, "Where's your shoes?
What's up with your shoes, bruh?
Where's your shoes? Come on, man!
In there.
Shoes on.
I know it's got that.
Tread on something hard and heavy and hurt yourself."
I don't know why I got like they're always like dust. I always imagine like the wings are always dusty and emitting whatever. I don't even know what, but I noticed I do that on all the 40K birds. I forget the name handy, but someone was always using these birds and I loved it. And I did a paint over his, and it was black and white, and they had it almost looked like vultures. And I had it flying, and I put like dust coming off their wings, and it was kind of like captivated. I'm like, that's really cool. And so I don't know, it's just been something I've been doing a lot, like dust on the wings. I don't know, it just fits.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's the little things.
It is the little things. That and sparkles.
We have to remember too. There was a couple. Something I watched on a show that I kind of liked. So I'll have to remember for next week. So I'm gonna have to take some notes for next week's show.
I'll tell you what I did watch the other day.
What?
Spice Divers, June.
Oh, you did? You watched
it
again?
It's like the third time I've watched it.
I'm just like, and I've debated that, and I also was debating the audiobook, and the thing was, I'm like, you know what? Don't do it until I see the new. I don't want to remember, like, get caught the stuff I forgot. I'm like, hey, wait, give the new one as fresh a shot as you can, and then go back and watch some of the other stuff. So I think I'm just gonna like hold out for a little while.
Going to be, too bad to have on if you wanted to listen to that, because obviously it's not the adaptation that David Lynch did.
No.
He changed things, but Denis Villeneuve is going to sort of keep to that as near as possible, obviously apart from sort of changing Liet Kynes. But there's going to be a little bit more of it, and plus it's a two-part, so obviously we're going to have more from the books in the film. So hopefully,
I know that is going to be kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, that's what we want. We want a bit of crazy. We want a bit of crazy awesome. That's what we want.
That is what I mean. I gotta say, they really. I don't even like myself. I don't really even let myself get hyped about anything, but I actually was trying. Like the visuals kept coming out, like these are top notch. I'm like, that's some slick, like production quality there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's honed his skills. He's done quite a good look at the trailers.
And the cast, I'm like, that's people I dig generally. So, on their film work and that. So I think it's got good signs. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome if it's good. Like, hopefully, get another one made. That would be super cool. My only problem with that then is they'll be like, well, we redid Dune and it worked out, so let's redo more stuff. It's like, okay.
He said he wants to do the trilogy.
Yeah.
Because with Dune, it is Dune, Messiah, and Children of Dune.
Yeah.
Is one trilogy. God Emperor Dune is the connector between the first trilogy and then the second trilogy, which was Heretics of Dune, the Chapter House Dune, and because obviously he died, he never got to finish this seventh book, which his son Brian and Kevin J. Anderson did, and they split into two books. Okay. So you've got Hunters of Dune and Sandworms of Dune as the it was meant to be one book, but they said, oh, there's too much stuff.
Yeah.
We have to do the two, or we just want to have two books.
Yeah, or we just want to make some good money.
So they did that, but yeah, because they are separate entities, and I've actually been listening to a podcast called the June Cast.
Okay.
And it's been around for years, and they've literally only done like probably around about 15 episodes in like 5 years.
Okay.
They kept on having really long breaks, so they'd talk about one book for a couple of hours, and then it disappeared. They were trying to do it like monthly, but it didn't work out that way. So, but yeah, I've been listening to that for the past week. And they've been going through like all the books, and it's quite a good little refresher because they're like talking about, oh, this happened and there was this scene and stuff like that. So
yeah,
catching up on stuff,
the little details that you might have missed or not remembered or whatever.
And you like they say, oh, there was this bit. Oh yeah, there was, wasn't there? But yeah, he's and I said they were saying the same thing. Is that basically it was meant to be 7 books. First 3 was one trilogy, God Emperor, because it's so different from everything else.
Yeah, see, I don't know anything about that really because I never, like I said, never did the books, but the farthest I got and the closest I got to the Children of Dune was the sci-fi show, which you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a little bit of the concept, but
yeah, that because the mini series was quite a lot closer to the actual proper thing, although they didn't really have the budget.
No, but I remember people saying that back then. They were like, "Yeah, this is kind of closer," and whatchamacallit to it.
But in Children of Dune, you've got a young James McAvoy, who's playing Leto II, the son of Paul.
Oh, really? I forgot all.
Yeah, young James McAvoy.
Interesting.
That's because that's the whole thing. Like, if you've obviously watched them, the first 3 books, because a lot of people they're a bit dismissive about Dune Messiah, but the whole thing about Dune is that it's not about this young boy becoming awesome with superpowers.
Yeah,
it's showing you, like the problems about power, and if you read those 3 books, you see the rise, the decline, and the fall, sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's more the arc of like the whole thing.
Yeah, so it's like the Muad'Dib's story, sort of thing. But then God Emperor Dune is, and to a part, Children of Dune is the start of Leto's story, and Leto is something completely different, on a whole different level to what Paul was. So he takes it to the next level, literally, because the whole thing about Paul and Leto is that basically with their prescience, being able to see everything, all that sort of stuff, for humanity to survive as a species, drastic action has to be taken, and Paul was scared to, like, he didn't want to because it was so horrifying.
Yeah, by what it means. Yeah,
sort of thing. Whereas with Leto II, because obviously he's half Fremen, and him and his sister were raised as Fremen, and Fremen are very pragmatic, and
they're surviving under harsh conditions.
Yeah. So Leto took it upon himself to do what had to be done, sort of thing, which is very drastic, and he does what he does because after the end of June, there's a massive the Fremen go go wild, as the jihad of Muad'Dib sweeps across the galaxy, and many billions of people die in the name of Muad'Dib.
Oh, is that what goes on with all that?
Yeah. And
Oh, so it
it's
really goes awry.
yeah. So it's it's you can't just take well, you can take Dune as a book on its own.
Yeah, but there's more to it than because
Yeah, but
that's
there's so
taking
much
it to a
more.
whole different level. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like there's like in Doom Messiah, because Paul can reach back through all the sort of ancestors, all the way back to from their origins in like Greek origins, back in thousands of years, because in our sort of time frame, the events of June happens probably around about 25,000 years,
Okay.
because the year, when they say the year is 10,191,
Yeah.
it actually ends in 10,191 BG, which is Bene Gesserit, which was when
Yeah.
the calendar was started after the Butlerian Jihad, where they destroyed all the thinking machines.
Okay.
So that was many thousands of years after, where we are now.
Yeah.
So, but Paul's having a conversation with Stilgar, and he's talking about the jihad that's going on, and he was comparing it to people from Earth's history, so like Hitler, and he mentions, Genghis Khan killed like 1 million people, and Stilgar goes, "Oh, did he have a lads gun?" Like innocently just going, "Oh, he must have had a really good lads gun to do all that thing." Yeah. Let's got up early in the morning, um, you know. But and that's what the story is actually, as a sort of a warning about charismatic leaders and stuff like that. You know, but then
Yeah.
there's so
So okay, so that's interesting. So it's more. It's not like that. It's not like you said. It's not the story about just like this one kid who gets all these powers. It's telling you the full cycle of like basically an empire.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
No, that's it. And, it's I saw actually something on the newsfeed. Someone was posting up this link um, about the new Dune movie, and they're basically comparing the events of Dune, and they're tying it in with like colonialism and stuff like that. And I was looking at it, and I'm reading like what this person's written, and they're like, it's well thought out and everything. But the thing is like, obviously with the events of Dune, Paul Atreides, yes, there was also talk about, oh yeah, there's eugenics involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's a product of a breeding program, it's not his fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just a product of it. His mum's disobeyed the orders she was given to have a son. He's come out a little bit powerful with the psychic powers and whatever. But the whole thing about him going to, they're saying about, oh, it's about colonialism and all that sort of thing. Well, the Atreides were told to go to Arrakis to take over the mining, basically.
Yeah. They had to hold over. Yeah, that's what from
So
what I
as a
remember.
business venture. So they've gone over there, but they went over there obviously to do the mining thing, because yes, they would get quite good status and power and all that, because that's the whole setup of the galaxy in 20 years time, sort of thing. But they were looking to ally themselves with the Fremen, so become allies with them to help them, but also they weren't going there to sort of take control of their holdings,
Yeah.
or put them under the lash and whip. And they honestly went there to become allies and embrace them and become best buddies. Let's go kick ass together, all that sort of stuff. And that was the whole sort of thing that Duke Leto had seen, the first Duke Leto, sorry. and he went around there, sent Duncan, Idaho to sort of make friends, which helped. And then obviously they, in the film, which if you watch it, you'll see certain scenes where, you know, the Fremen are sort of like, oh yeah, you're all right, sort of thing. So it was on their terms. They didn't have to say, yeah, we like you and be friends with you or anything like that. So I had that side of things, but then obviously the trap kicked off, and you know the Harkonnens and the Emperor turned up to kick House Atreides to pieces.
That was a raw job.
Yeah, but because of other stuff that the Bene Gesserits had been doing thousands of years before, with its missionary productiva or whatever, which is basically they were going out and seeding like race cultures or whatever on planets with the Messiah sort of.
Were they doing that?
Yeah. So that's why they're saying like, oh, it's a prophecy's coming true. You know.
So they seeded the prophecy out there. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the prophecy was already out there, and that was by the Bene Gesserit. They've done it on hundreds of planets. It was like their standard thing. We'll put this like little seed, give them this little.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's how that spread. That's cool to know.
Yeah, and so it's just by coincidence that the Atreides turn up. Well, sort of coincidence that they turned up. The son is going to be the Kwisatz Haderach or whatever, and his mum is a Bene Gesserit, because it said like someone will come from the outer world and they'll have a Bene Gesserit like mother. Oh look, it must be, and when you watch the films, you see him like going, oh, again, it is the legend sort of thing. You know? And so they've like the legends that they was fed thousands of years in the past are coming to fruition. That was all on the Fremen side. Jessica knew of these sort of things that the Bene Gesserit had done, and so they played on it. So they got sanctuary within the Fremen. But it was also a real thing. So
that's pretty cool. Thanks for making it, Mechanical Frog. So you mentioned history and summon the history teacher. I noticed you had a couple. You always Mechanical Frog always mixes in some history in his channel. And MZ Butterfield says, "Hey, MZ, thanks for making it." I don't know if do I remember it, MZ? Am I bad and don't remember someone who joined before?
It's a friend of mine and Phil's.
Oh, nice. Thanks for making it. Thanks for bringing your friends. I'll take anything I can get.
It was nice of him to drop in and say hi.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. So, so it's you know, eventually Paul, as in film Dune, adopts the ways of the Fremen. You know, starts doing it, participating in their rituals and all that sort of thing. So, again, it's not from this point. It's not colonialism, because yes, it's like it's like the Great White Hope sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think in the book Dune, I don't think they describe them as being white anyway. You know, so you could have them whatever. And obviously, apart from the fact that when Paul goes back in later books in his past lives to where they originate from, which was from like ancient Greeks, and a lot of Greeks don't consider themselves white; they consider themselves Mediterranean. So they're a different sort of like culture and race type sort of thing.
Oh, see, I didn't even thought of that
and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's just wave MZ. My back's killing me.
Is it? You can take it. Gotta go, dude. You can head out.
Yeah, I'm all right. I said, well, I've been drinking beer. It's been helping.
Cool.
But yeah, so it's there's so much more to the stories. So definitely, if you've got your Audible credits you haven't used, start with to Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune.
I never even knew that that's how far that story goes.
Yeah, no, it goes. As I said, they go. I haven't actually finished it because, although I've got the books for Hunters of Dune and Sandworms of Dune, I started reading them, and this was like a couple of years ago. It's probably about 5 years ago when I got them. I started reading them, but I haven't been back to them since. Because that was probably around the time I started doing audiobooks.
Yeah. Interesting.
In the June Prelude to June books, it describes Selim Wormrider and the other slaves, who were the first Fremen. Well, the first Fremen were like the Zen Sunny Wanderers, because in the back of June you have all the whole glossary of terms, and there's loads of other stuff in there that tells you of they were a migrant sort of race that travelled, but obviously they are based on sort of Arabic and Bedouin sort of.
Yeah,
people.
they steal from you're just taking some sort of concept from them.
And obviously you got Zen Sunny, and then you got later on Zen Sufi. So because you've obviously got like Islam, so you got the two different main Sunni and whatever it's called. But yeah, you say you've got oh my god, Mechanical Frog hasn't read June.
Hey, there's a lot of us out there that haven't. That's one thing. I caught all the stuff. A lot of the good books I had never read. I read a few of them, but there's a lot more of the good. Like someone was talking about. I just happened to see it in some article somewhere. I don't know where I was streaming, but they talked about Johnny Mnemonic and the writer, and I was like, wow, I never read the original Johnny Mnemonic, with that. And then they said, there was a couple books after that were kind of like tied to it, which I know the names of all of them because I heard them before, but I just didn't know that was all the same thing. I was like, gosh, I should have read some of those too.
It's yeah, because it was Keanu Reeves in the film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ice-T.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, Johnny Mnemonic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, say obviously John Carter of Mars is quite a good sort of like book series or whatever, but obviously they didn't transition it, or they fudged it up somewhere where it didn't get the marketing and that. Because it was still, I quite enjoyed the film John Carter of Mars.
So did I. I didn't find nothing wrong with it. I thought it was a good movie, better than what it got credit or whatever for. I thought.
Mechanical Frog. Around age 11, I was really into the Wingman series and then BattleTech novels.
See, so Wingman was another one I heard of, but don't know anything about. Yeah.
There's loads of stuff. I keep on getting people recommending book series and all that, and like we've spoken before about the Wheel of Time series.
Well, that's the one. I still didn't finish that. That's like the only one. I'm like, gosh, I gotta really finish that before I die. Like that was the epic of epicness, dude. I'm like, go finish the Wheel of Time.
The TV series starts in November.
Oh, it is November. Gosh, I fingers crossed for that because it can go so awry. I'm just hoping, be solid, give a solid B. I'll even take a B minus. Don't go into C grade show, but
they've already commissioned the next season as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so usually that's a decent sign. So usually if it was hot garbage, they'd be like, guys, no.
Yeah, because it was going to be shown in August, but then they put it back to November for some reason.
Yeah.
So you've got that to look forward to.
What is that? Do you know? Is that Amazon or where is that? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got that to look forward to in November. I don't know what other series there are about at the moment. I think, to be honest with you, I was been thinking recently about Netflix and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's not many series on there that I watch, so I might actually just cancel my Netflix because.
If you're not getting much out of it, yeah.
Because I'm watching Amazon Prime mostly, because The Expanse is on there, which is my favorite sci-fi thing.
I could see that. It's a good one.
I've got my free subscription to Apple TV, so I've got me Ted Lasso. And then I've got me subscription to Disney Plus, so I've got everything and everything.
Yeah, that's a lot too.
So yeah, it's pretty, wasting
And there's
money.
so many of them now that they like some just aren't going to make the cut because it's whatever, you know what I mean? Because I think you're right on Netflix right now. Netflix, I don't watch a lot on it, but I will put like background stuff on sometimes from Netflix. It's like it has a lot of like B or C grade stuff that I'll still kind of watch, but I don't think there's anything really like, hey, I got it. Like originally when it had the Marvel stuff, you know, I was like, hey, I got to watch that. You know, I want to see what's going on with the shows and that, but I don't think there's anything super calling. There's a couple shows, I'm sure, but nothing that.
I think it might not be Netflix, but I thought it could have been Amazon. Actually, thinking I watched This Island Earth, 50s sci-fi classic.
Really?
It was. I do actually own it on DVD. I bought a load of sort of like those 1950s sci-fi.
Yeah.
This Island Earth is one of the big ones. Like Forbidden Planet is another sort of one to watch. I think Day the Earth Stood Still, the original one.
Did they ever do like a really cool? I know they redid it a few times, but I don't. Did they ever do like a really cool journey to the center of the Earth?
Then I do another one with Will Ferrell or something.
I don't like. I'm. No, that was Land of the Lost.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm sure the center of the Earth with Will Ferrell.
They did redo Lost in Space, which was I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, I did too.
That was quite enjoyable. But no, not Journey. I don't think so. Like, the nearest you got to that is the Core. That doesn't have any dinosaurs.
Yeah, I remember the Core, so I do remember the Core. Yeah,
and plus you've got to have the original one with Doug McClure. Doug McClure was in all those sort of type of movies.
Yeah,
and Cannonball Run 2.
Oh yeah,
it's Doug McClure. He's in everything. Anything cheap and cheesy, he's in it.
I saw people do the Cannonball Run here for real, even though it's kept underground kind of deal. So they'll still do it. And I guess someone set some sort of record because of the COVID when it was on full lockdown. They were racing across the United States to set the record because there was less traffic. And I forget what they said. Somebody did the coast to coast in some crazy amount of time because they were going like 100 miles an hour the whole time.
Well, that was things like I remember in the first Cannonball Run. I think they done it. It was meant to be done in 33 hours.
Yeah, and it was. I think they did it in less. I thought they said. I forget. I should have saved it just because I was curious what they ran across. But I'm like, I didn't even realize. I'm like, yeah, that of course people would be doing a real Cannonball Run, even though it's dangerous and whatever.
Over here, like that, there is a thing called the Gumball Rally.
Okay.
Because if you remember, Cannonball Run was based on a film, Gumball Rally or something.
Yeah.
Or it, and then they've done the Cannonball Run with Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise and Sammy and Mark.
Yes, that's right, Sammy Davis.
But that's the thing. You can watch Cannonball Runs, and they're all great in their own different independent ways.
It's been so long. I mean, at least 20 years since I've seen the Cannonball Runs.
What did I say? Yeah, I think I watched Smoking the Bandit within the last few years.
Really?
Yeah. I think I did. Yeah.
Well, blends.
I think I might have watched it when Burt Reynolds actually died. I think I just went and watched Smoking the Bandit because obviously
Wait, did Burt Reynolds die?
Yeah.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Wait.
Eastbound and Down, baby.
Alexa, is Burt Reynolds dead? Oh, is she not turned on? I don't have it turned on. It doesn't sound right. Burt Reynolds. Yeah, I guess he did die.
Yeah, he's definitely dead. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone, dude. But like, you've got the films of Burt, because like Burt Reynolds was like everywhere when I was growing up. So
he was like one of the most popular things around.
so you watched like the Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit, Deliverance, Mean Machine, or the Longest Yard, as you called it.
Yeah, that's right.
Stoker Ace. Was it Stroker Ace?
Oh, I don't remember that one. Yeah.
Hopper.
Yep.
Stroker Ace was basically like he was like a NASCAR racer, I think.
Okay.
And then Hopper, he was a stuntman with
I remember that one.
I'm trying to think what other ones he was in. Not his main ones.
When I was a kid, for some, and I think it was because of, I still remember her name, Heather Thomas, but the Fall Guy show. I always remember like the Fall Guy with Lee. Like, what's his face?
I told you I'm named after Lee Majors.
Yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah. So the Fall Guy. Obviously Steve Austin, the $6 million
man. So that's another one I think is due for a good. You could do a good remake on that. $6 million Man could be like the $6 trillion Man. And then,
well, they tried it a few years back, didn't they, with the Bionic Woman?
I don't know. They keep doing some of these like I did not.
There was an English actress called Michelle Ryan, who was like a soap actress over here on like the big soap of many years is called EastEnders. It's been running since the 80s, sort of thing. It's not as long running as Coronation Street, which has been running since like 60s or something. But she got the part to play. I can't remember the character's name now. Of the Bionic Woman, and they did do. It was over like a part series, or they might have just done a pilot or something.
Oh, I thought I heard. Okay, I heard of that too. Then I heard something about that.
There was also like Highlander. There was a female Highlander series with Claudia Christensen. Claudia Christian, sorry, because she'd done a pilot for it, and then they done the Highlander TV series with Duncan MacLeod.
Yeah.
So that was the other pilot they did. So they done one with Claudia Christian, and then they done one with the other guy, and they went with the Duncan MacLeod version. So it's like Foxfall stuff.
I know this has been a long. We're at 2 hours, man. We could probably call it here. I will end up working on these some more because I'm like kind of like feel like I'm 3/4 the way through them, and I'll let them. I kind of like this one.
It's proper atmospheric.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to like amp up the things I need to do. I need to tweak a little bit of lighting on him to like pull out that pillar and stuff a bit more and lighten it up. But I dig it.
The other one with the stone sword one was also very awesome. It does look like the art that you get on the collectible card games.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm just trying to like blend it in there. Like that's why I didn't really like touch anything on that because I'm like it looks perfect for that. I was just trying to get a background that kind of matches it. Such a cool, fun mini. And you're live streaming Saturday?
Yeah, that's been normal. Back on, see how many hours I get out this week. It was because they're sort of been fluctuating. So we've got just over about 4 hours last weekend. So
oh my gosh, yeah.
We'll
Iron Man, you are dedicated to the hobby time, dude.
Well, it's the only time I actually do any hobby. So
I know. See, that's why it's true, dude.
I just work for the Saturday show. This is my relaxation day.
It does help. I had been it was hot here too, and that just drains me in general. You know how that is. So you're just like, oh, and then it cooled off, and then like I had a good day, yesterday, and I was like just doing a bunch of odds and ends BS that had to get done for like the last few days, and like it's been going good, and I'm like, all right. So it felt good. I was like, okay, today's going to be a good one. And it always pumps me up when I see people reply and you start seeing all these cool miniatures. I'm like so simple. I'm just like, oh, I look at pretty pictures and I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's just it's like distract me with pretty pictures and everything's good. Easily distracted. I got to start drawing again. I was working on this one.
Dark.
Yeah. I laughed because I'm like, I'm gonna do the kind of looking pipe things in the background. They're gonna be stylized where they would be like other images, like other comic panels in there, right? So it'll show like actions, so like memories or part of the world in that space when I get to it. And I just slapped the word grimdark. I was like laughing. I'm like, just do a grimdark. Like it's going to be some sort of like I'm going to draw some things towards it. It's going to be in the same style. I want to do it in this kind of style because I think I can get it done fast enough. This kind of style. So just like whatever, an undercity type thing, like a simple story. I want to draw some stuff and do some visuals and like go through that. So I was like, start sketching. That when I started doing t-shirts and working on those, that helped me kind of get back a little bit into drawing. So I'm like, just get drawing some more. So that's
Get
part of the plan.
The artistic flow.
Yeah.
Much like get the spice to flow, get the artistic.
It really is. And when I slow down or I take time off, I pay for it. It's like it just what is it? An object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to go for it. All right. Thanks to everyone who joined us. We actually ended up having some good viewers on this one. It was a little bit of a slow start. So thanks everyone for making it. And we're on for next Wednesday, as far as you know?
As far as I know, yeah.
All right, good deal. See you on Saturday. I might live stream on Sunday. I'm going to start, if you had more Patreons, I'm going to start like a Patreon show, like probably at least once a month or something. So I'm going to start doing that and do some paintovers and just do some stuff. It's grown now to a size where I'm like, oh gosh, I can actually turn it into something. So going to start, kind of harnessing that and make some cool stuff for supporters in that. So thanks again to everyone. Thanks Engine Phil and Mechanical Frog for making it, and anyone else who's out there. Lee, see you next week, friend. Anything you want to say?
Invest in badgers.
All right, everyone.
That's where all the money's going. Where all the smart money's going. Badger futures.